What's up, everybody? Rage Cage 20 here, back with Mr. B. Big ol' Mr. Ballen. Don't be seeking. What are you doing seeking? We got another story here today, another Mr. Ballen story here, another bedtime story for me. And what better bedtime story than Malibu's Most Wanted? You know, is it Jamie? I know it's Kennedy, right? Jamie Kennedy? Yeah, that guy. I'm sure that's the joke intended. Not about some, I assume, true crime, something like that. But who knows? It could be a completely misleading title that would throw me completely off the map. You know how Mr. B liking to do it. But hey, it's a shorter one today, so it'll only take me about 40 to 50 minutes. So hey, yeah, it's better, right? Though I do gotta say, what makes me feel better about all the comments, well, not all the comments, but occasional comment of just like, how the fuck do you make this video so long, is whenever I watch a Mr. B story, I'll go watch Kid and C. If you haven't checked them out, you should go peep them, go give them some love. They do some pretty good stuff, especially Mr. Ballen stuff, man. It's pretty good stuff. I enjoy watching them after I've watched it myself. And I always see their videos between 40 to 50 minute steers. I was like, yeah, they make me feel better. They make me feel better. And they don't even pause as much during as I do. And they're still around 40, 50 minutes. So they make me feel better about my video length duration. Anyways, let's get into this bad boy. Mr. B, yo, blow me away with another amazing story. I know you won't disappoint. You haven't done so yet. So why would you disappoint now? Let's go. But has there been any ones that have been like, meh? I don't think so. I don't think so. Anyways, I don't got time to think about it because we don't want this video to be 6 minutes. So let's go.
On June 21st, 2018, an experienced outdoorsman packed up his two young kids and they headed out to this beautiful park in Southern California for a fun-filled summer weekend of hiking, camping, and adventure. Little did they know there was an evil presence lurking in that park. But
so you remember when I mentioned that like it might just throw me through a loop? I didn't see that coming. I thought it would just be a story about Malibu's most wanted criminal and whatnot, and what he did. They I assume it was a he with the picture in the front, and how the police went about capturing him and stuff. I did not think we were going to get the story from someone else's perspective. Mr. B, you've done it again. And as always, please tell me what to do that like button. And you bet your ass I'll do. I'm still working on the restaurant though, so I'll get there eventually.
before we get into that story, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place because that's all we do, and we upload once a week. So, if that's of interest to you, when the like button is at work, release a horde of angry emus into their house. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. Okay, let's get into today's story.
So before we get into this, one thing I do want to mention really quick before we get too deep into it. So what I'm planning on doing with Mr. B stories is so I don't miss anything cool that would be coming out new, because I was just going to go from where I started and just keep going down, but more stuff's coming up. So I think I'm going to go one down, one up, and one newer, one older, and keep going back and forth and whatnot. That's just the plan at the current moment, so yeah, whatever. Let's continue. Jamie Foxx. That's Jamie Foxx.
On the morning of Sunday, June 17th, 2018, 35-year-old Tristan Baudet pulled his phone out of his pocket to check the weather forecast for Orange County, California. Orange County is this beautiful suburb located right between Los Angeles and San Diego. And this beautiful suburb is where Tristan and his wife, 36-year-old
Erica. Tristan. I'm protecting you. Erica Wu. There you go. There you go. There are two daughters. I don't mean offensive or anything, but I do have a thing for Asian ladies, and Erica Wu is correct.
Erica Wu and their two young daughters, aged 2 and 4, called home. And on this day, which was Father's Day, Tristan had gotten
there
up
you go.
early to check the weather to make sure it was going to be clear that day because he really wanted to take his family out for a fun beach day to celebrate his holiday. And he was in luck because when his app loaded, it showed that Orange County was going to be beautiful and clear all day. Although, even if the weather had come back as rainy and horrible and cold, Tristan was the kind of person who still would have wanted to go to the beach. Because for Tristan, anything outdoors was really awesome. That was his happy place, being out in nature. Whether it was going to the beach or going hiking or camping or just throwing a frisbee around outside, he didn't care. If he was outside, he was good with it. And even though his daughters were still very young, they both already had totally fallen in love with nature just like their dad had, which made Tristan just so happy because now he had these two little sidekicks that would go with him on all of his outdoor adventures. As for Tristan's wife, Erica, she did love the outdoors, but maybe not as much as Tristan did. But that was okay with Tristan because all he would do is make little adjustments to his adventures to make it more bearable for Erica. Like whenever they went camping, Tristan would totally rough it in a tent right on the ground, but he would bring along a big full-size blow-up mattress for his wife. And this was something that Erica just adored about Tristan. Not that he literally waited on her hand and foot, but rather that Tristan just kind of went with the flow. If his wife wanted a blow-up mattress, that was fine. You know, it didn't matter to him. That was just who he was. He didn't judge people. He was at peace with the world. And
So recently, when I was visiting my parents for Christmas and whatnot, I was slept on a very nice blow-up mattress because we didn't have room in any of the rooms. And after doing that, it's just like now I'm like, if I go camping, I'm gonna get blow-up mattress like this. It's nice. I don't know these people like I'm gonna rough it like fuck that. Fuck that. Nah, I want a blow-up mattress. Like, you can rough it all you want. I'm gonna be on that nice, comfy ass mattress.
in fact, it was that character trait that had originally attracted Erica to Tristan. Erica had met Tristan back in high school when some mutual friends had set them up. Tristan didn't have a date to a dance at his school, and so the friends were kind of like, Erica, go with him. And so Erica would agree to go. And on the night, she actually met Tristan for the first time. She's laying eyes on him for the first time. He was a sight to behold. The summer prior, he had sprouted up like 4 inches or so. So he's super tall, but his body hadn't quite filled out yet. So he's super lanky looking, and he was totally overdressed for this dance. He had on this.
Is it just me? Does Mr. B seem like really, really happy to be telling the story? It's making me a little suspicious. He's building it up so he can tear something down, but maybe because this is actually a happier story, at least the first part, the first half, than he usually gets to tell, so he's just like really excited about it, instead of kind of dark and like, yeah, death and misery and I don't know, but he's really happy.
Full tuxedo, and he was not remotely self-conscious. He was only psyched to have a date to this dance. And during this dance, Tristan would just totally rock that tuxedo in all of his gangly glory, as if this tuxedo was made for him. And he would really try hard to make sure that Erica had a good time with him, and she totally did. And so after this dance was over, the pair was inseparable. Erica would go on to study at Stanford and would become an OBGYN doctor. As for Tristan, he would become this wildly successful, widely published scientist with a patent related to vaccine delivery. However, in typical Tristan fashion, he didn't care at all about his resume. It didn't matter that it was completely stacked. I mean, on paper, this guy was just unbelievable. But Tristan never changed his personality. He never changed anything about himself. In fact, his scientist colleagues, who adored him, they used to think it was hysterical that this brilliant chemist who was on the cutting edge of various cancer treatments and all this crazy research, that guy was actually this big mellow type person who wandered around the lab and started most of his sentences with, "Dude, By early afternoon on that Father's Day in 2018, Erica and Tristan and their two little girls had made their way to a local beach, and Erica had found herself sitting in a beach chair reading a book, and Tristan and the girls had set up a sunshade right down where the water broke, and they were digging in the sand. And so over the course of that afternoon, Erica, she's reading her book, and periodically she would look up and she would see Tristan and the girls digging in the sand or making sand castles. And then at some point, Tristan and the girls, they would get up and abandon their dig site, and they would run into the water, and then they would run back to shore right as the waves were breaking, trying to kind of escape the waves. And the two little girls thought this was so much fun, and they were laughing hysterically and screeching with excitement as
And it's all fun and games until the waves tries to claim one of them and bring her back to the sea, man. You gotta be careful with that. They're a little young.
the waves crashed at their ankles. These are tiny little waves. And at some point, Erica, she's looking up watching this, and she sees her two little girls having a blast, and she sees her husband flash her this big grin because he knows this is totally funny. And at that moment, Erica suddenly felt herself feel something that she didn't always feel these days. And that was just contentedness, happiness. Tristan, because he was this totally laid back guy, he was able to just kind of enjoy life as it came to him. But Erica, she couldn't do that. She was a constant worrier, and that was largely because when she was just 8 years old, she lost her father. And it was this totally traumatic experience that really upset her childhood. It was just devastating for the family. And so ever since then, she had developed this very real paranoia that no matter how good her life was, that at any second it was going to be ruined by something horrible happening to her. But as she sat in this chair, watching her husband smiling at her and seeing her kids playing with him, it was
like, I understand that, like, there's probably no reason unless this guy got away. He would know their faces. I'd say I don't know if there's any reason, like, to show their face or whatnot, because, you know, they're just little kids and whatnot. But it's kind of weird that their faces were asked to be blurred or whatnot. Hey, you know, teach their own.
it's just this perfect moment. And so Erica would put the book down and she would get up and run into the surf to be with her family. Little did she know, something horrible was about to happen. 4 days later, on June
He's not happy and smiling anymore. Mr. B is all serious and sad mode again.
21st, Erica was home studying for this big medical exam she was scheduled to take the next day. But at the house with her was her husband and her two little girls. And so the house was totally chaotic and loud, and it was obvious to Tristan as he looked over at his wife that she was really struggling to focus. And Tristan also knew that they were a week away from moving. They were moving to San Francisco. They had just put a deposit down on a house. They had some family up there, so it was a smart move to make. But they still had a lot to do for this move. And so Tristan's looking at his wife, knowing that, you know, the stress levels have got to be through the roof for her. And so Tristan decided he would just take the girls and head out for the weekend to make sure Erica had the time and space she needed to prepare for this test, and also just maybe to be alone and have some peace and quiet.
I wonder who's going to have the run-in. If Erica's staying home... Sorry, I just had a brain train of just like, oh, like one of my good friends who's Asian is also named Erica. Anyways. She's staying home. Is the dude going to break into the house? Or is the dude going to find... Well, he did say that they were out, the hiking camp, whatever the fuck they were doing, and there's neighbor presence out there. So it's probably ain't Erica. It's probably gonna be what was his name, Chris? I don't remember. The homie and the kids. So, whew, that's not fun when you have little kids and killer comes showing up. I assume it's a killer. If you're the most wanted in the zone, you probably killed someone or a huge drug cartel or something. I don't fucking know what you do.
And so Tristan made a couple of phone calls, and then after he was done, he talked to Erica, and he told her that he had just made reservations at this campsite up in Malibu, California. Malibu is another beautiful Southern California town located about an hour and a half north of Orange County. It's where a lot of celebrities live. It's a very rich part of California. And he tells Erica that he had made reservations in this campground that's out there, and that he had called his brother-in-law named Scott, who had two young kids himself, ages 3 and 5, and they were all going to go there together and spend the weekend at this campsite. Now, Erica was very thankful for her husband for being willing to do this because she did need the time and space to study, but she immediately was just concerned about it because, you know, Tristan, he would take the girls and go out on all sorts of adventures all the time, but he had never gone camping overnight without her there, and so her reaction was to worry about it. But Tristan, who knew his wife very well, told her, "Don't worry, I will take great care of the kids. It's a place that's totally public. It's an amazing campground. There's loads of people around. It's totally safe." And so eventually Erica was convinced. And so Tristan began packing the car with all the camping supplies and the kids' toys and the kids' bikes. And as he's doing that, and the girls are really excited about this camping trip, Erica still found herself thinking, you know, I hope they cancel this trip, because she just couldn't help feeling like something bad was about to happen to them. But Tristan did not cancel the trip, and after the car was all packed and the girls had been tucked into their car seats in the back seat, Tristan kissed Erica goodbye and said he would see her in a couple of days, and good luck on your test tomorrow. And with that, Tristan hopped into the car, he backed out of the driveway, and Erica watched as he pulled up the road and headed north towards Malibu. After studying well into the night, Erica finally went to sleep, and then the next morning she got up early because she was nervous about the test, she was anxious about her husband and her kids, and so she's up early and she's getting ready, and as she's getting ready, she hears a loud knock on the front door. She looks at her clock and she sees it's 6:45 in the morning, and there was no reason for anybody to be knocking on her door that early in the morning, maybe unless it was Tristan, but he wouldn't be knocking on the door, he'd just be coming inside. And so apprehensively, she walked out of her room and went to the front of the house, and then she opened the front door. And as soon as she saw who was standing there, she knew something was wrong.
Popo? Popo?
This video is sponsored by BetterHelp. Every day
Oh, that's gonna be NordVPN again. I was gonna be like, fuck NordVPN. I don't have anything against them. It's just they're fucking everywhere, man.
in the description. Erica would later reflect on this moment when she opened the door, and even though it didn't make sense and it was irrational, she would sometimes think to herself, what if I had just never opened the door? Would this nightmare have really happened? But Erica did open the door, and standing out there was her sister-in-law, Priscilla, who was there unannounced. She lived an hour and a half away, and she looked very frazzled and upset, and she would give Erica absolutely heartbreaking news. News that was so earth-shattering that Erica literally couldn't comprehend it. Like, this cannot be true. There literally has to be a mistake. But there was no mistake. Erica would not take her medical exam that day. Instead, she would hop into the car with Priscilla, and they would drive to Malibu. The day before, Tristan and his two little girls, after
I imagine that no one died in this scenario. But now I'm thinking, maybe someone died in this scenario. I'm really hoping it's not the kids, or all three of them. I'm hoping someone come back. Like, is that why the kid's face be blurred? For like respect. It was Tristan, that's his name, right? I think I remember now. I hope that dude coming back. Mr. B was building it up, wasn't he? He was so happy and smiley so that he could tear it down. Oh, Mr. B, don't do me like that, Mr. B. Mr. B, don't do me like that. I thought it was going to be something like some stranger showed up and like, if she didn't open the door, they wouldn't have been motivated to go find their family or attack their family or something like that. That's what I was going to be like. Well, you got to peep the door, have a weapon ready, something like that. But it was her sister, so like that's a different story.
driving for about an hour and a half, arrived in Malibu at the entrance to the Malibu Creek State Park. Now, when most people think of Malibu, they just think of the beautiful properties lining the beach. They think of celebrities and rich people and exclusivity. And that's all true, But what a lot of people don't know about Malibu is that just outside of the kind of main Malibu area is this totally wild area, this very rugged terrain, all these canyons, all these heavily forested areas. It all kind of butts up against the outside of Malibu. And in this totally rugged area is where the Malibu Creek State Park is. So Tristan and Scott, they arrive at the gates of this park that leads into this wilderness, and they check in with the park rangers up front, and they are directed to their respective campsites that they had reserved. They had reserved 2 sites right next to each other. And all a campsite is usually is just a square little plot of land with nothing in it, and it's a place where you put your tent on, and sometimes there's a fire pit inside of it. It's really sparse. And so Tristan and Scott, they thank the park ranger, they drive all the way across the campgrounds, they get to their designated spots, and right away Tristan's like, these are just not very good campsites. They were located right near the porta potties, so kind of smelled bad, and there was lots of foot traffic right in front of their sites, and their site was kind of at a tilt too, so just overall it was not ideal. And so Tristan said this to Scott, and Scott decided he would just go talk to the park rangers again and see if they could change their campsites. And so he went to the front, talks to the park ranger, and they say, no problem, there's actually 2 open campsites on the other side of the park. We'll just...
I'm sure that was a mistake. I'm sure that was a mistake. But who knows if it'll make a difference in the end, but I'm sure that was a big mistake right there, wasn't it?
Swap your reservation. And so Tristan and Scott and the kids, they make their way to these other 2 campsites, and these are perfect. They're kind of tucked up at the base of this huge canyon. There are no porta potties nearby, so no foot traffic. It's very private, and the land was totally flat. And so the men are totally happy with this, and they start getting their stuff out of their vehicles and setting up their tent.
See, sometimes private ain't what you want in these situations. There's safety in numbers.
And the kids are running around playing and riding their little bikes around. And then after their campsites were mostly set up, Scott and Tristan made a fire in the fire pit that was located roughly between where the 2 tents had been set up. And so Scott was sleeping with his 2 sons in his tent, and Tristan would be sleeping with his 2 girls in his tent. And so they get this big fire going, and then all the kids and the adults, they sit around
I mean, I guess technically they could have taken a picture of their fire, but my first instinct was like, really? They didn't take a pic? That's not a picture, but they just took their fire and the stick and stuff. I'm surprised, but I guess technically they could have. I mean, some people might do that.
Fire, and they start roasting hot dogs and making s'mores, which is marshmallow, chocolate, and graham cracker. And the dads are telling funny jokes and spooky stories too. And before long, the kids are just totally exhausted. And so Scott and Tristan both take their kids and put them to bed inside of their tents. And then after the kids are tucked in, the 2 men come back to the fire, and Tristan, who had packed pre-made cocktails, he pulls those out and he shares one with Scott, and then the 2 men just enjoyed each other's company.
I mean, like, I'd say it's one thing if your kids are like, I mean, I'm sure you're not far away, right? I'm sure you're not far away. Like, obviously earshot, what have you. But like, if your kids are like 7, 8 plus, sure. When they're very south of that number, I don't think you leave them in the tent alone, man. Like, I think if they go down, you go down. You know what I mean? Like, they go to sleep, you go to sleep. Is what I mean by go down. Like, go to sleep. Not like actually go down. Like, no. I'm talking about that. Obviously, you do defend them to your last breath, but I mean, that's not what I'm talking about here. And I also don't think when you're like, hey, 2 people trying to take care of 4 kids, let's throw one back. I mean, I'm sure it's just, just like maybe 1 cocktail, so I'm sure they're being responsible and whatnot, but like, when you're trying to take care of little kids and you need to be like, your senses sharpened, honed, edged, ready to go, you probably don't just like start throwing back drinks or something. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you probably don't do that. This is just all I'm thinking here.
Sat around the campfire, chatted for a while. It was mostly Tristan talking about his upcoming move to San Francisco, but Scott was happy to just listen. And then at some point, the 2 men were just totally exhausted, and they decided it was time for them to go to bed. And so they put out the fire. Scott would hug Tristan.
Please tell me the kids are in the tent. Someone didn't jack them kids. Oh my god, I don't want this story to go that direction, man. I hope these kids are okay, man.
Tristan and tell him that he loved him, and then the two men
gonna
would
be
leave the
traumatic for
campfire
me.
and go to their respective tents. As Scott climbed into his tent with
No.
his two sons, he turned and looked out the open flap of his tent across the fire pit towards Tristan's tent, and he saw Tristan climb into the tent with his girls. And so after he sees Tristan get into his tent, Scott zips up his own tent and he lies down, and within 10 or 15 minutes, Scott is fast asleep.
So, what Mr. Ballen stories have taught me, if you're going camping anywhere, is to bring a weapon, preferably a ranged weapon, heavily preferably a ranged weapon, and a lock for your tent. You want to make sure no one can unzip that bitch but you. I don't think they did that. But then again, nothing, one of those, you're not in the middle of the wilderness. And also, nothing bad's ever happened before, so why would you? And I get that, but they didn't watch enough Mr. B stories to understand that you bring a weapon, you bring a lock.
Just before sunrise the next day, so around 4:45 a.m., Scott suddenly woke up. He thought he heard a loud sound, but he couldn't place the sound. And so he's just laying there. It's still dark outside. And as he's kind of getting his bearings, he realizes one of Tristan's daughters is crying in her tent. Now, this was not cause for alarm necessarily, because Scott just thought, whatever she was upset about, Tristan would certainly calm her down any minute. And
Yeah, when that situation when you get woken up suddenly, and you have no idea if you actually heard a sound or not. It's just kind of part of your waking up process because you're groggy and shit. So passing that, also being, my roommate's kid's a lot better than they used to be. But just random fits and crying episodes because they maybe didn't get something that they wanted or something didn't go the way they thought it would. That's pretty common. That's pretty motherfucking common. So I understand that's not necessarily cause for alarm on either account.
she'd be okay. But as Scott was laying there with his two sons sleeping right next to him, Tristan's daughter just continued to cry. Now, Tristan was a famously heavy sleeper, and so Scott was thinking, okay, he just must not be awake, and so that's why he's not able to comfort his daughter. And so Scott would carefully get up, he'd unzip his tent, he'd be careful not to step on his sons. He went outside, and outside it's cold, it's dark, he cannot see inside of Tristan's tent. There's no windows on it, and so he just walks over, and by the time he gets to the tent, he can hear clear as day Tristan's daughter is still crying, and so Scott kind of loudly but still whispering says, "Hey, Tristan, wake up." But Tristan doesn't wake up. And so with Tristan's daughter still crying right on the other side of the nylon of this tent, Scott decides to just open the tent up and look inside. And so he walks around to the front of the tent, he unzips the tent, and he looks inside. Now, it's too dark, he can't really tell what he's looking at, but even with the minimal light, he could tell that Tristan was clearly still sleeping right in the middle of the tent. And positioned on either side of him was his 2-year-old daughter and his 4-year-old daughter. And from the looks of it, the 2-year-old was crying, and the 4-year-old, who was also whimpering, was doing her best to comfort the 2-year-old. And so Scott's looking in, wondering what's going on, when the two little girls, they turn.
Hey man, this is gonna be tragic as fuck. I'm sure. I'm sure Malibu's Most Wanted didn't just pop out to be like, "Hey, how's it going?" and walk away, or anything. It wasn't just popping poppies, and just to scare people. You know what I mean? But absolutely horrifying to lose a husband, and for kids to lose a father, especially right in front of them. It's absolutely traumatizing and horrifying and whatnot. I'm just super happy that the little kids at the current moment appear that they will be left unharmed. It was gonna be traumatic for me because I do not like to see kids get hurt, especially in that sort of way. I was just gonna be I don't know if I want to hear how this story goes, but so far, looking like they're going to be unharmed. Well, physically. I mean, emotionally, they're going to be fucked for life, but yeah.
Turn and look up at Scott, and when they see him, they just start saying, wet, wet, wet. Now, Scott doesn't know what they're talking about. He's starting to get a little bit flustered because he thinks something's wrong, and so he reaches in and just starts shaking Tristan, saying, hey, wake up. But as soon as he did that, he could tell Tristan's not sleeping. Tristan is dead, and his two little girls are sitting in a pool of his blood.
Oh my god, yeah. Well, if you remember what I said, they're fucked for life. Yeah. Like, hopefully they don't remember any of this. Are they also 3 and 5? Because I think it says sons were 3 and 5. Scott or whoever the fuck is. I don't remember names. All I can remember is Erica. Just because I have familiarity with that name. But yeah, I'm hoping that they're super young, because all they can say is wet. Like, they clearly understand that something's happening, and they seem to enjoy going out with their fellows. It does seem like they are pretty capable of having memories, but maybe be repressed. Maybe be a super repressed. It's gonna come back eventually, and then, I don't think no matter what way you try to rationalize this, they're fucked for life. Like, I don't. That fucking blows, man.
Right before Scott had woken up, someone who was...
Hold on, I'm gonna go back because I interrupted a huge plot point here. But it just dawned on me why the kids' faces would be blurred, because it doesn't sound like the killer gonna get caught. And or if did get caught, maybe we'll chance of getting out at some point. But I mean, you can clearly see Erica's face. So if you find Erica and 2 kids, chances are you found the kids. But like, I now understand why the kids' faces are blurred and whatnot. And of course, if they grow up and whatnot, people will be able to potentially identify them, and they won't have to deal with being recognized and whatnot with the story later in life. So I get it.
In a pool of his blood. Right before Scott had woken up, someone who was standing near the campsite had fired a gun several times, and one of their bullets went into Tristan's tent and struck him right in the head.
They're not even aiming at him? And how did you only hear one sound, buddy? Guns are not quiet. How did only one of those wake you up? Scott, was that your name? The fuck? But if that was not aimed at him, that is unbelievably unfortunate. That's just like literally the wrong spot in the wrong place at the wrong time. Fate's fucked like that, man.
As he slept next to his daughters. Roughly 2 hours after Tristan was killed, Priscilla showed up on Tristan's doorstep to tell his wife, Erica, what happened. That her little girls were about to grow up without a father.
I guess phone calls. And okay. Like, how 2 hours? Did she know about this?
Just like she did. This news absolutely destroyed Erica. A
fucking
42-year-old man named Anthony Rauda would be arrested.
Okay, well, he didn't get arrested, to be fair. I mean, shit. Anyways.
Just like she did. This news absolutely destroyed Erica. A 42-year-old man named Anthony Rauda would be arrested and charged with Tristan's murder. Rauda had a long criminal history, and at the time of Tristan's murder, he was living illegally in this park up in the canyon nearby, and when he was arrested, he was in possession of a gun that was ballistically linked to the bullet that killed Tristan. His trial is still ongoing because Rauda keeps firing his defense attorneys, which delays the trial. While Rauda has said he's innocent, he didn't do this, his behavior in court so far has not made him look any more innocent. He has been so violent and erratic during the initial court proceedings that when he goes into court, they have to strap his wrists and his legs into a chair and put what's called a spit hood over his head, which prevents him from spitting on people and biting people. Assuming he was the shooter, that he was responsible for shooting Tristan, which most people believe he was, and there really is an enormous amount of evidence that supports this, but again, his trial is still ongoing. But if we assume he was the shooter, the theory is it was completely random. He did not know Tristan. He basically just fired his gun either intentionally into the tent or recklessly, and he just happened to fire into the tent.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he was intentionally firing at the tent or not. It doesn't sound like we have knowledge of that or not. But like, dude, there's a chance I could have hit the kids. Either, both, none of them. There was like a dice roll that none of them could have got shot. All of them could have got shot. Multiple bullets fired. Unless it was not aiming at the tent and one just accidentally hit the tent. Like, God. That the fact that it was a percentage dice roll that just perfect headshot him. That's I mean that's like that's yeah. I have no words to how fucked up that is.
But either way, one of his bullets struck Tristan in the head and killed him, meaning Tristan was literally just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And if this case wasn't heartbreaking enough, one more distressing detail is that this shooting was not the first shooting in or around this campground.
What?
In the year leading up to Tristan's death, there were an astounding 6 other shootings, 2 of which happened literally in the campground right where Tristan was killed. Now, none of these other shootings were fatal, but in all 6 cases, the shooter or shooters were never caught, and the Malibu police just kind of didn't investigate. It wasn't until Tristan got shot and killed in this campground that the stories of all these other shootings that never got solved came out, and people are looking on a map saying, wait a minute, there's all these shootings unsolved with a rogue shooter or shooters out and about right here, right over this campground, and we haven't shut down the campground, and we haven't told the public that there's potentially a uncaught shooter roaming around this campground? Why is that? Now, the answers to those questions we don't know now, but they will likely come out during Anthony Rauda's trial.
My guess is negligence. Would be my guess, but I'll let Mr. B continue speaking before I go off on a tirade.
Where he's being charged not only with killing Tristan, but also for all of those other shootings. In the meantime, Erica has filed a $90 million lawsuit against several agencies.
Oh, I fucking would. Man, she's a doctor too. She's pretty smart. She knows what she's doing, man.
Saying that her husband had no idea there was this threat of an uncaught shooter at
Yeah.
the campground, and had authorities put any sort of warning up, Tristan never would have taken his kids inside
there, he would be alive.
that park, and he would be alive today. Her lawsuit is still ongoing.
I bet, yeah. It's gonna take a while, but I hope the best for you.
After watching our videos, people often approach me and ask, how can I help victims and their families? Well, now we have a great answer for you. The Mr. Ballen Foundation. The Mr. Ballen Foundation is a registered 501c3 nonprofit that makes it as easy as
IRS.
possible for
Takes
you
some
to
charity.
join
There
me,
you go.
my family, my team in supporting those whose lives have been most impacted by violent and heinous crime. We have already
Respect.
given $150,000 to victims and their families, including a $25,000 donation made in Tristan Baudet's name to the Experience Camps, which is a program for children who have lost a parent or both parents. Monthly donors to the Mr. Ballen Foundation Honor Them Society receive free gifts and exclusive invites to special live events. But the real reward is helping to create a new ending for victims of violent crime. Go to
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, I don't need rewards, man. I don't need incentive. Like, just to help in that situation alone, I feel is the incentive.
to mrballen.foundation and click on Get Involved to join the Honor Them Society today. If you got something out of today's episode, remember we also have a podcast called the Mr. Ballen Podcast that puts out weekly content, including brand new, never before heard stories that are podcast exclusives on Monday mornings. Again, it's just called the Mr. Ballen Podcast, and you can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Google. Anywhere you find your podcasts, you can find this one. We also have 2 additional YouTube channels. One is called Mr. Ballen Shorts, and the other is called Mr. Ballen en Espanol. We put out near daily content on Facebook and...
So whenever I start learning Spanish, which I will someday, this is something I want to do. I want to be fluent in Spanish, and I want to be... I mean, I don't need to be fluent in sign language, but I'd like to at least be able to hold conversations, obviously nonverbal conversations, in sign language. But when I do, I want to pick up Pimsleur because it swears. Even though I tried the first free lesson and I was not very impressed. But I don't need to go off tangent on why or anything like that. I wanted to, but chopping down time here. But I do want to learn, and I would probably start listening to these stories in Spanish and whatnot to help. I also want to listen to songs like I know, like Disney songs in Spanish and stuff like that. I think that would be very helpful anyways. Yeah, I'm really happy that Mr. B started these foundations and stuff like that to help these people, like someone giving back to them when stuff has been taken from them, which is wonderful. I gotta say, if you've watched a lot of these or have watched any of my content that has ever involved this topic before, you're probably very aware of my feelings on law enforcement, like the one in with the dude got lost on the campus and got shocked to death and whatnot, and I was like, this fucking police officer has been fucking fired immediately, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I know that there are good police officers out there that actually care about the job, actually try, actually want to make a difference, actually want to help people and do their best to not abuse the power to which is given to them and not let it go to their heads, and put forth their best work. And to those people, I want to say that I appreciate you, and I appreciate that you don't let excuse me, that you don't let power get to your head, because if you give humans power, it will almost always tend to corrupt. The more power you have, the more corrupted you will probably become, and that's why there's so many fucking shitty police officers out there. But for those of you who find the restraint, find the responsibility, because with great power comes great responsibility, to do what's right, I respect you, I salute you, and I thank you. I feel like that's a tiny margin from most of the stories I hear and most of the events that I see. The fact that there had been shootings and or maimings or killings or whatever the fuck, that this has gone on and police just did fucking nothing about it. And like there's no way that the Rangers and shit didn't know, right? Like there's no way that someone is popping rounds off in your campsites and you don't hear shit. No one's come reporting shit. No, like there's no way you don't know. So first off, negligence on their fucking behalf for not like doing something about it. Or if they called the police didn't do anything about it. Like, well, we gotta make money, so like no one's died yet. fucking shame on you. Fuck you. But secondly, the fact that the police just decided, fuck it. Like I swear, I'm gonna restrain here. I'm gonna grip a little bit to let the anger subside. I'm gonna try to be nice. I'm gonna try to be nice and preach positivity. I I don't know what's wrong with a lot of police officers. Let's just put it this way. I don't know what's wrong with a lot of police officers. I don't know what's happened to you in your life that you feel like this is okay. That even if for some reason the law system says, "Oh, you guys don't do anything about it," or "We can't do anything about it," or "You don't have a permit, we can't go to blah 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 blah," that none of you would be like, "No, this is wrong. We're gonna do something about it." The board, whatever the fuck, whoever runs the fucking whatever, can go fucking suck a cock. We're gonna go do something about it because we are literally designed to protect and serve people. And damn it, we need to do that. So, I don't know, man. I don't know what's wrong with you guys. You guys and growls out there. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you. If you're just sick in the head, or you just truly just don't give a fuck. But you should feel bad about your existence. Well, that's the nicest way I can put it. You should feel bad about your existence and that you have failed not only yourself, but just those around you. So, anyways, I'm okay. I'm fine. You know, it's all good. It's all good. So that was an interesting story. I feel really bad for that family and those kids that are just, they're gonna need a lot of therapy, and even that probably won't fully help, but they're gonna need a lot of therapy, and I hope for the best for them. But in the end, I'm really glad that the kids did not get shot and killed, hurt or injured or anything, because that would have been there would have been no niceness if the cops did nothing and kids got injured because of it, or hurt, maimed, murdered, what the fuck ever. Oh, the choice words would have flown aplenty. A stream of vile anger and putridness would have came forth from my mouth. So, yeah. So yes, it was very unfortunate, but I'm really happy that the kids did not get injured. There's most of the time, most of these are pretty cool with. Some of them I can have fun, joke around and stuff, and then occasionally there'll be the one that just like pushes me. Like I'm not usually an angry person. Like I'll be joking around, angry, be like, "Yo, fuck you, bitch," but I'm not actually like angry and whatnot. It usually takes a lot to make me angry, and stuff like this makes me angry. When people could die because of your negligence, people who don't deserve it, innocent children could die because of your negligence, and you're just fucking piece of shit behavior. That triggers me. That gets me really angry really fast. Because protecting kids and taking care of kids is literally the career I chose. And so when kids could have gotten hurt because you just chose not to do shit, like that makes me really, really fucking mad. And so, most of these don't trigger me. Some of these do though. So, I'm just gonna, before I say anything, have any real choice words here, I'm going to just end it there. So, thank you so very much for joining me. The next one, we're gonna go upwards now. I'm very interested to see what special law Finger Guns McGee got called into action. But before we get to there, I want to find out what happened to this teen that got pushed into a brutal death trap. Which, I mean, I'm not. I want to say I'm hoping, because like I don't hope for anything bad. But if it already happened, and it had to happen, then I would hope it would be the kind of, when if you watched the "This Man Ruined Six Lives in 6 Seconds" video that I did, Mr. Ballen, sorry. Like the battle royale dinner party thing. Like last person standing gets to leave, rich people betting on stuff, kind of thing. I would hope it'd be that kind of story, because I didn't get in that one, and I want the story. Now, of course, I don't want that to happen to anyone ever, for any reason. But if it already occurred, then that's, how I would hope it would have gone down. If I can, go back in time and change history. So, just saying. It's a weird way to phrase that, I know. Anyways, thank you for joining me. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. Censor myself. Thank you to all you wonderful people out there. Everyone else, you know how I feel about you. So I will see you all next time.